Afternoon everybody, Rich here, back again for another video for the Diecast F1 review. Here today is the McLaren Mercedes MP4 11 for the 1996 Formula 1 World Championship, and in the car is Mika Hakkinen. Now the 96 car, the MP4 11, is the last car ever to run with the Marlboro red and white livery. Also the last McLaren really of their mid-90s doldrums. It was 97 they were back to winning ways. 1996 was a step in the right direction, but still a long way off race victories, although a very near victory came at the Monaco Grand Prix, where Coulthard was hunting down Olivier Panis, the eventual winner, but just couldn't catch up enough. If the race had gone on for its full distance, then maybe. Did it go for its full distance? I can't remember. I'll have to look that one up. The 96 Monaco Grand Prix, did that run the full distance? I don't know. Send answers on a postcard. But yeah, that was pretty much the only chance McLaren had of victory that year. Although the lead was taken at was it Coulthard? I think it was Coulthard who took the lead in the San Marino Grand Prix early on, but ultimately fell off the pace. And the car was more reliable than the 95 car, but still miles off race winning pace. Although podiums were still, well, I'd say they were still there, but I think they were a bit more forthcoming in 96. The car was definitely faster than the 96 car, going into their second year with the Mercedes-Benz power. But like I said, race wins still a long way away. Now look at the dust on this thing. It's a shame. But yeah, results were a bit better, but still only fourth in the Constructors' Championship. Ferrari had moved up to second, Williams was up to first, Benetton dropped to third, and McLaren pretty much stayed where they were. Yeah, well, things weren't much different for 97. The race wins in 97, although I will review that car later on. 97 car still had race wins, podiums and competitiveness, but was still only fourth overall, so McLaren was still another season away from moving up the grid a bit more. But the 96 car, like I say, the last year with the now famous red and white Marlboro livery. But a lot of people say McLaren should revive the livery, but I really don't think it'll look that good on a modern car. This is the last of the red and white liveries, and it does look good on this sort of shape of car. This is probably the most modern looking car with this livery. Anything more modern than that, I think it just looks a bit old fashioned, especially with all the curvy side pods and funny noses that they got this year. I don't think red and white really look good in this era of Formula 1. Although Toyota did dabble with the concept, but not in the same way as this. It really just it don't look right. I think it's something they should put to rest and confine it to history. Pretty much like this car, really. But yeah, the livery, it had its time, and like I said, gone in history. And McLaren tried to rekindle that history, although not that history, but with the West livery with their 2015 car earlier this year, and thank Christ they changed it later in the season to a more attractive black livery. But enough about 2015, they're shit. 1996 they're a bit better. Reliability, like I say, wasn't all that great. Well, it was better, but still not quite up there with the best cars. Although saying that the 96 Ferrari was a bit of a dog. But anyway, that's the rundown of the car, or the real car. Let's have a look at the model. Now, this model, of course, 1/18 scale by Minichamps, and it's a bit of a wreck, if I'm honest. It's one of those models I could not get in very good condition at a very good price. This model today, in a good box, in good condition or very good condition, you tend to get sort of silly prices for it, hundreds of pounds. That's not bidding though, because if you look on eBay, the only ones you see of these tend to be sold by dealers who have no clue of how much they're really worth. They just put them on there, say £200 buy it now, and they end up reselling them over and over and over. So if you're going to get hold of this car, you're probably going to have to pay through the nose for it, or just do like me, settle for a second-hand wreck, which is what this thing basically is. Although it's still pretty good, it's not falling apart, although there are a few bits missing, like on the rear wing here. Quality wise, it's pretty good. The steering is quite stiff, the front wing is held on quite nicely, the aerials are a bit wibbly of course, the wing mirrors are a bit fragile, but they're bent, but they're holding on, although that one there is a bit, if you look there, it's a bit wibbly. I'm not going to do what I did with the 96 Ferrari, where I just did that in the wing mirror just pinged off. I'm not going to do that, although this thing is already loose and it's probably going to ping off anyway. Yeah, the rear wing is the weak point on this model. If I just turn it around this way, you can see there the scoop there is missing. I look that so you can see that. Right, I'll turn it that way. See the scoop there with the Camozzi, I don't know, that logo there, the big nice shaped fin there. It's missing on this side because, well, I don't know, I bought it like that, and that's pretty much how it comes. And the rear wing is very flimsy plastic, so if I just unpin that side, you can see it's very flimsy, very light plastic, and you just sort of sneeze and it'll fall apart. It's that fragile, and it's also not attached to the car very well. The pegs are pegged into the die cast is a bit iffy, so it's not held together very well, and it's not held on the gearbox very well either. So I just unpeg. Oh, sod it! I unpeg it that way. There you go. You see that it just sort of rattles about. It's not very good, and I sort of considered breaking this thing up for spares, but seeing I'm going to have to probably pay through the nose for another one, so I thought I'd keep hold of this one. It does look good in the cabinet, but yeah, it's not perfect condition. I think there's supposed to be a T-cam on the top there as well, but other than that, it's just a hole there. I'm not sure if it is a T-cam or just a hole in the model or a hole in the airbox, I don't know. But it is a very attractive car, and if I turn it that way, it'll hide the missing part. There we go, that's how it's meant to look. I do apologise for the light as well. It is mid-November, or still early November. It's dark outside, so there's no natural light in here. So I just had to put a white sheet down to try and make the light a bit more natural, because the light above, which is not very natural, but that's all I got. Yeah, quality-wise of this model is, well, I've already pointed out the rear wing is a bit naff. The decals do fade on this model. I have had a couple of these, or at least my brother had one of these, where the previous owner was a heavy smoker, and the nicotine had ruined the decals. You tend to get this quite a lot, especially with the older models. The decals had yellowed, and it was beyond repair basically for decal wise. The car was busted up for spares. It was just ruined. The model in condition wise, it was fine. It's just the decals were ruined. They were brown basically. I don't think any scrubbing or any fancy chemical would have fixed that problem without removing the decals first. Yeah, it's a shame really, but that's how things go. Just do a quick pirouette around this. So if I do a top view actually first, because it's quite an attractive designed car. If I get to hold it like that, and then we lift up the camera. There we go. That's the profile of the car, nicely shaped. Although that missing wing does stand out like a sore thumb. And then we spin it around that way. Have a quick look at the rear. Got the big McLaren brand on the rear wing there. Got the nice red or orangey red colour scheme under the side there. Got the big diffuser there. Nice slick tyres there. And this is probably my favourite era Formula 1, 96, 97, well, 95, 96, 97 with these shaped cars, as well as the 2 metre wide wheel track, which makes the cars more aggressive looking. And very nice car it is too, nice cars of that era. Barge boards are quite well attached, although the decal, as you can sort of see, the decals are a bit flaky on there. With this car of this age, it may be 20 years old next year, so it's holding on quite well. As I say, they do peel off very easily there. Have a quick look in the driver's cockpit. We've got the driver there, Mika sat quite nicely in there. Got all the decals on him there. A bit dusty though. Like I said, it's quite an old car. No box either, which is a shame. So we've got the steering wheel there. Quite a chunky looking steering wheel. You can really see the dust is caked on there. Need to get a cotton bud down there and give it a good clean. But the profile of the car is a very sexy looking machine. Of course, it being 96, we've got the big headrests on the side here. And I've already reviewed the Ferrari from that year, where this headrest really goes sort of crazy with the size of them. It was ridiculous, but it really did make for an iconic looking car. And the McLaren just sort of followed in between the Ferrari and the Williams in terms of how they interpreted the headrests. And this is sort of the same thing they went into 97. They went into 97 was kind of the same concept as this with the headrests. It's basically the same looking car, just sort of a bit more lower in sort of profile, but I will review the MP4 12 at a later date. I just want to get this one out of the way, and I'm sort of going in the line of McLaren's sort of 94, 3, 4, 5, 6, that sort of thing. Yeah, I've got a 91 McLaren as well to review, but I'll do that one when I have a bit more time, a bit more talk in me. But yeah, I got some marks on the McLaren decal here. I couldn't get I think it's smudged paint or something. It's not very attractive. I couldn't get it off there. Basically, the whole thing needs to be completely stripped and then replastered later on for any sort of restoration. The rear wing is sort of a lost cause really, because it's destroyed basically. Well, that side is, and there's a few bits missing there as well. So it's a real shame, but can't be helped. Oh, knock the camera over, would I not? Oh, the tripod's gone. There we go. Stay there. Right, I'm going to zoom out again. And, yeah, the last end of an era in terms of Marlboro for McLaren. The Marlboro brand went to Ferrari permanently, although excuse me, the brand changed the colour of the Ferraris. I will review. I've got another review here, which will be the '97 Ferrari, which will be the next video. I will do that one after this one, and the colour scheme changed on that car. And of course, McLaren went to the West livery. The West livery lasted until 2005, and then they went to their chrome with Vodafone until 2013. And now they're under their sort of fifth livery in sort of 4 years. But that's enough said for McLaren. McLaren really are in the doldrums at the moment. I mean, the Honda engine is gutless. I don't think it's all Honda though. I think some of it is the car being not very drivable, but never mind. But yeah, that's how Formula 1 goes. Well, anyway, that's me rambling on about 2015 again. I did say I wasn't going to do that. Just do another quick look around the car. And it is one I would recommend getting hold of if you can afford it. I mean, it is a ridiculously expensive model when it does come up on sale. When you do see them on eBay bidding, or for bidding, you're going to have a good fight on your hands there. Really nice profile on the nose there. I really did like this high nose McLaren in this retro-esque livery. At that angle, it really does look pretty good, despite the dicky wing mirror there. Yeah, I think the nose decal has faded as well. I think that's sort of gone a bit nicotine-y brown as well, but I think that was the previous owner. I don't smoke, so I can't blame myself on that one. Although I do neglect the dusting a bit, so we'll have to get a cotton bud and give it a good old dust around the cockpit. And it does look pretty good on the white sheet. So have a quick look at it there, and then a quick look at it there. And it does look pretty good. Probably have to use it for a thumbnail picture as well. So that's that. But anyway, that's my review of the MP4 11. Oh no, I'll carry on actually. To say, price wise of this car, I'm not sure about price. Like I did say at the beginning, you haven't got a fight on your hands if it does come up for bidding. It does sell quite well, or for a lot of money when in box. They don't come up very often when they're not in the box, which was this one. This one I paid £20 for, and that was back in I think it was 2007. I picked this one up, and it's sort of sat in the cabinet with all the other ones. Basically, I keep the cars without the boxes live in the cabinet, and the rest of the cars in their boxes are dotted around all around the room. Yeah, this is just one of the examples of neglected models by the previous owner, which is a shame, but never mind. So price wise, it does depend on the condition. And I'm dying here as well. Anyway, that's my review of the MP4 11. I will do the MP4 12 at a later date. I do have that one in the list. I also have the 91 McLaren, which I've also mentioned. I'll probably skip a few and go to 2010 and 2012 models as well. I've got them in the list. I've also got some of the really cheap early Mattel models as well, say 2000, 2001, and no, I've already done the 07 car, yeah, the Hamilton version. So it's basically the 2000, 2001 McLarens, which are Mattel. I will review as well, which are pretty cheap in comparison to this. But hey ho, never mind. Anyway, like I said, this is Rich signing off, logging off, disappearing, and I shall return with another review. So bye for now.